World War I, commonly referred to as the Great War, was a monumental conflict that forever altered the course of history. The war, which spanned from July 28, 1914 to November 11, 1918, involved many of the world's great powers and resulted in profound and often shocking changes across the globe. The origins of the war can be traced back to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. On June 28, 1914, Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was murdered in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. This act of violence set off a series of diplomatic crises and alliances that ultimately drew many nations into a full-scale conflict. The war rapidly escalated from a localized dispute into a global conflict. Due to the complex system of alliances in place, the major powers were divided into two main factions: the Allies, including France, the United Kingdom, Russia, and later the United States and the Central Powers, consisting of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. This entanglement of alliances ensured that a conflict between a few nations quickly grew into a world war. One of the most shocking aspects of World War I was the unprecedented scale and brutality of trench warfare on the Western Front. Soldiers faced unimaginable conditions in the trenches, which were often muddy, waterlogged, and infested with rats. The trenches stretched from the North Sea to the Swiss border, forming a static front line that resulted in a prolonged and grueling stalemate. The horrors of trench warfare included constant artillery bombardments, which led to high casualties and psychological trauma. Battles such as the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun became symbols of the war's brutality, with Verdun alone resulting in an estimated 700,000 casualties over 10 months of fighting. The introduction of new military technologies and weapons further exacerbated the war's destruction. Chemical warfare became a horrifying reality, with the use of poison gases like chlorine, phosgene, and mustard gas causing severe injuries and suffering. The effects of these gases were not only immediate but also long-lasting, with many soldiers suffering from chronic respiratory issues and skin conditions. Additionally, the war saw the deployment of tanks and airplanes for the first time, introducing new dimensions to combat. While these technologies represented significant advancements, they also contributed to the massive scale of destruction and loss of life. The impact of the war extended beyond the battlefield to the civilian population. The total mobilization of resources meant that entire societies were involved in the war effort. The British naval blockade of Germany led to severe food shortages and suffering among civilians, while in the Ottoman Empire and other affected regions, populations endured famine and displacement. The war also had a profound impact on the Russian Empire, where the strain of the conflict contributed to the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. This upheaval led to the collapse of the Russian monarchy and the rise of the Soviet Union, altering the political landscape of Eastern Europe. The geopolitical consequences of World War I were profound. The war led to the dissolution of several empires, including the Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian empires. Socially and culturally, the war left deep scars. The immense loss of life, including the death of an entire generation of young soldiers, created a pervasive sense of disillusionment and mourning. Soldiers who survived the conflict often returned with severe psychological trauma, now understood as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which was initially referred to as shell shock. The combination of military defeat, internal collapse, and the signing of the armistice led to the end of hostilities on November 11, 1918. The formal conclusion of World War came with the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, which imposed harsh penalties on Germany and sought to prevent future conflicts. However, the treaty's terms also sowed the seeds of discontent and economic hardship, contributing to the conditions that eventually led to World War II. Overall, World War I was a conflict of unprecedented scale and impact, characterized by its staggering human cost, the horrors of trench warfare, and its far-reaching consequences for global politics, society, and technology. The war's legacy is a stark reminder of the devastating effects of modern warfare. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and leaving a thumbs up. Thanks.